welcome to this week's Coffee With, featuring our host Glenda Boone. Glenda is a brand management and digital marketing consultant with more than 25 years of experience. She has planned some of the country's most notable events, including the nationally televised historic Ebenezer Baptist Church's election night coverage of President Barack Obama, the memorial service of Coretta Scott King, and the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King's March on Washington. Further, Glenda has helped pastors produce logistical plans and playbooks for some of the most noted and fruitful religious conferences held in the U.S., including the Kingdom Conference, which was used as a business model to form MegaFest. Also recognized for creating arts and entertainment productions, Glenda has collaborated with several acclaimed visual, performing, music, literary artists and producers, including fine artist Annie Lee, actor and fine artist Billy D. Williams, founder of Trumpet Awards Zernona Clayton, and Kathy Hughes, founder of TV One, Radio and Urban One. Glenda has also collaborated and/or served under some of the country's most acclaimed religious leaders, including Bishop Walter Thomas, Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Bishop Paul Morton, Bishop T.D. Jakes, Bishop Eddie Long, Dr. Brad Braxton, and Dr. Raphael Warnock, to name a few. During her tenure in this field, Glenda has developed relationships with more than 1,000 churches as well as an accomplished network of ministers, communicators, audio-visual service providers, meeting planners, and public relations specialists, enabling her to provide her clients with a network of experts positioned to attach her clients to the audiences they are seeking to serve. Realizing the marketing landscape was changing in 2009, Glenda set out to learn digital marketing strategies that would assist pastors and small business owners in navigating the online space and introduce them to digital marketing platforms and strategies. To date, Glenda has coached more than 100 small business owners to navigate the online brand management and digital marketing space and dedicates 1 hour each week to answer questions any small business owner or church leader may have through her popular YouTube show, Coffee with Glenda and Friends. Today, Glenda is considered an expert in the field of online digital brand management and marketing and is sought out by many to provide keynote speeches, e-church training, and workshops. And, through her firm, O Taste & See Marketing and Productions, Glenda provides online marketing, CTV media buys, and digital marketing SEO management services. The firm's focus is to assist clients in increasing revenues, decreasing expenses, and expanding their customer and/or donor bases. Glenda will be joining us shortly to answer any questions you have. But before we start the show, just a few housekeeping items. 1. Grab your coffee and your questions, and if watching from YouTube, place your questions in the chat box and Glenda will attempt to answer as many as possible. If we miss your questions, please feel free to come back to the replay and enter your question in the comment box, as Glenda always answers all comments. 2. At the conclusion of each show, Glenda will create a how-to video detailing the most interactive or asked questions during the show. This content will be exclusively for subscribers who have a paid subscription. Click on Join to learn about the perks of becoming a paid subscriber of Glenda's YouTube channel, including being featured as a co-host on a live Coffee with Glenda and Friends show. Okay, I believe that's it. Let's start the show.
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, YouTube and Facebook world. Are you ready to have coffee with Glenda and friends? Let's go. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
It's still the best.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy May. A lot of April showers, hopefully here in the U.S. on the East Coast. Anyway, it's been feeling a lot like winter. So I'm glad spring has sprung and maybe April showers will bring us some May flowers. Hope that you all had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I know I had a great weekend and I am looking forward to spending some time with you on this morning. Just a few housekeeping tips. Last week I had a lot of emails. Thank you for your concern. All is well. I have a I guess, a blessing, a little bit of bittersweet news. I picked up a great contract. So I am still committed, however, to being here for you on Mondays. It always may not be live, but I will. If it's not live, I assure you I will have a video based on questions or new trends that are happening up for you every Monday at 11 a.m. So my commitment to you is if I cannot be here on Mondays, I will still make sure that a video is uploaded for you all. Continue to put your questions in, and I will make sure that I get them answered. When we have a co-host with me, I will definitely make a point to make sure that I am live, because I think it's only fair to our co-host as well. And to our members of our paid subscribers, I will be doing in the evening, some evenings I will be doing lives exclusively for my members, so that you don't feel like you're shorted anyway. I am excited about the opportunity. I will be speaking with you all a little bit more about it as we move down the road. It's still fresh and new right now, but I'm excited to give you more details about that opportunity down the road. All right, so let's get started with this week's question. It was kind of loaded, so I'm only going to do one question, and I'm also want to refer back to last week as well, because some of you, I understand, came on at 11 and I wasn't on at 11 last week. So I want to make sure that I backtrack on those funding, on those sources as well, for you to see if there are any questions. All right, so we're going to add our question to the screen. And I think this is something that resonates with a lot of us. We've done all the hard work. I've done everything, but I can't seem to get more customers. Can you help? All right. When you say you've done all the work, I'm assuming that you're saying that you've started up your business, you got your LLC or your corporation, you've done all the necessary paperwork, you've done your market research to make sure that there are enough customers that want the service that you are providing. A lot of times I find that people who can't get enough customers, either there's not a big need for it. You have to go back and refine the need. There's not a big desire for the product or service that you're trying to sell, or the market could be completely saturated and you are not differentiating yourself enough. Yes, there are thousands of people that do what we do. Almost guaranteed, you are not the only person that's doing what you're doing. But what we have to do in order to get our share of that customer base is we have to distinguish our brand. We have to show how we're different. Why should I, especially if you're in a really saturated market? Let's take, for instance, weight loss. Okay. Everybody's got a weight loss product. So you've got to work very hard if you're going to enter this market to show and pinpoint how your brand is different than their brand, because the market is so saturated. So a lot of times I tell people, have you really done everything you're supposed to do? Have you really done that market research? And I keep going back to that. If you watch all my previous videos, guys, I keep going back to your market research and finding that persona, that ideal customer, because that is really so important. It's going to save you thousands of dollars in time, and it will also save you a lot of countless hours of frustration. So make sure, my first advice is make sure that you have done everything. It does your brand. Have you worked on your brand? Not only your product, how it looks, your logo and all of that kind of good stuff, but you, because people buy from people. Okay. People will buy your product because they like, trust you. Okay. So when you say, have you done everything? Have you worked on your brand, your personal brand, you, and what have you done for that? in regards to that brand. Go back to some of the videos if you and if you are not a paid subscriber in our paid subscriber tribe, I encourage you to do so because we talk about these things in depth. I show you how to do these things in the members only section. But if not, there are some videos in the Coffee With playlist that you can go back as I'm referring to your brand and people who buy from you. So make sure when you say you've done everything, my first tip is to make sure that you have conducted your market research and you know exactly who your target audience is. That's where you want to place your focus. This is very hard to do. You can get off track sometimes. You can want to go left, but you got to take discipline and have a strategy and a marketing plan to stick to and get to your target customers. If that market research shows that there are not a lot of buyers in your category, you got to face it for what it is and save yourself some heartache. Go back to the drawing board, get another product, get another service that you're good at, but don't waste a lot of time on something that there's not a demand for, okay? Because you're not going to get customers. Guess what? There are some people out there that's trying to do the same thing you're doing, that's in the same bad market that you're in. And 9 times out of 10, that customer base is very, very small. And they probably have what little customers are in that field. So make sure, I cannot stress enough how important making sure you do that market research and then defining your target audience and creating your marketing strategy and following that. If you don't have a marketing strategy, you're not going to get customers. Yes, your family members and your friends, they're going to buy because they like and they trust you and they want to support. But eventually, that's going to run out. Eventually, you're going to find that you're only in that same circle of friends, okay, and family. How do I get out of that circle? And that takes a lot of work. And that's what we're going to focus on for the few minutes that we have this morning. All right. So once you've done everything you're supposed to do, now, again, I am assuming that you've done all of your homework. You've got your market research. You've got all your filings with the government. You have your lawyer set up. You have your accountant set up. You have everything set up to really start this business. And I'm assuming you have your website. Your website has search engine optimization on it. Your website is user friendly. Your website does not have a lot of words, but it really gets to the point. I'm assuming that all of that's done. Okay. So now you've been in business for a minute. You got all of the busy work of the business done. You've got some customers, but you're pretty much in that family circle of friends and family, and you want to get out of that. All right. My first tip for you on that is to ask your customers for referrals. Okay. Ask them for referrals. Get on the phone and call them. People are used to texting. It's very easy for them to say, okay, in a text. It's very easy for them to ignore and say, oh, I didn't get your email. But when you call them up on the phone and you ask them for a referral, remember, these people have built a relationship with you. They like you. They trust you. They want your product and they want to see you succeed. I guarantee you, if you make a couple of calls a day, just set aside 10 to 15 minutes a day for 1 day a week, okay, or 2 days a week. Make a schedule where you're going to focus on doing these things. If you take time every day to ask for referrals from your current database, you will get those referrals. They're going to say sure, and they're going to give you referrals. Now, people may not always want to give you people's cell phone numbers, especially today. So you have to figure out a strategy. How am I going to get those referrals? It is always good to ask for email. It is always good for you to ask them if they're older crowd, to ask them if they could Facebook message their friends. Okay, Facebook Messenger is a beautiful thing. I love it. If you have a target audience, and it's a great way for your customers to get you referrals, because they simply go to their Facebook Messenger, write the little message that they want, and then they get to click send, 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 whoever it is they think may be interested in your product. So I strongly suggest that you really look into utilizing Facebook Messenger as a way to ask your past customers to give you referrals. They can do the same thing with DM. If you have a younger audience, they can do the same with that. You want to ask your customers to give you, if they, not really comfortable, they don't know how to use Messenger or DMs, you can ask them to post something on their social media site, like a testimonial on their site, and include the link to your website so that people can go there. But you want to get your previous customers involved. And that goes with, and I cannot say this enough, picking up the phone and asking them and then telling them what to do. And what do we learn about telling them what to do? We learned that is called a call to action. So you just don't send an email, have a telephone call, and then don't have a call to action. You always want to let a person know what you need them to do next. All right, so that's the first tip. The second tip is to use the power of networking. You all have a lot of people within your work network, within your social network, that's outside of family members and friends. You want to use that power of networking. And we talked about that in go back to one of my coffee withs. We talk exclusively about how to network. In one of the videos, I think I even show you a networking pitch, how you refine that when you're at different social events. You got to get out there. Okay. You cannot sit behind your computer. You've got to get out into the community. You've got to find where you think your customers are. If you are an art dealer, then you've got to go to art events. If you're a fashion designer, you got to go to fashion shows. If you are a vendor and you sell products, then you have to attend vending events. Once you qualify them, though, you just don't want to spend hundreds of dollars. When we talk about that too, how to qualify what vending events you should actually take. But you've got to be there, because those vending events allows you to network. People will stop past your table and they will, you can ask them, well, what do you do? And just, you just don't want people to come up and say, what do you like? What do you see? Is there something here you like? You might want to ask them, hi, what brings you here today? Blah, 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 blah. What type of business are you in? What do you do? And then as they say what they do, then you come back with what you do outside of sitting at this vending table. Okay, so you want to network, and I'm quite sure as you start to engage in these conversations, especially at vending events, the people will tell you, oh, you know what? I have a social club and we do stuff like this all the time. And I think this would be great. That's your opportunity to what? Network. You're getting into now a whole nother base of people that you don't want to know. Your goal in getting new customers is to get outside of your circle of influence. What is your circle of influence? Family members, friends, and coworkers. You want to work your way outside of that circle, utilizing, however, those people to help you do it. Okay. Offer sales, specials, and promotions. Now, this is kind of hard to do in a service business. I personally don't offer sales and specials and promotions in my consultation business. However, if you sell products, this is a great opportunity for you to do that. But again, when you start offering sales and promotions, you won't want to do this too often. Okay, because when you do offer a sale or promotion, it needs to be a drastic sale or promotion if you're trying to get new customers. Because if the goal is for you to get new customers, sometimes you got to spend a little money on that promotion. So that means that if I'm going to do a sale or promotion and I sell products, and my goal is to not make money so much off of this, I'm looking at this as a promotional campaign, and I would have to spend money on any promotional campaign. In this instance, I'm utilizing my products. I'm taking a drastic reduction. So that means that I'm not offering 10%, 20%. Hey, if I really want to get some new customers in the door, I might even offer 75% for a small window, short window of time. So I'm running a promotion, 75% off of all of my products for the next 48 hours. But you want to go to your customers, your past customers. You want to get that word out. You want to tell them, you want to give them a social media flyer when you tell them to let them know, hey, I'm giving 75% off of all of my clearance items for the next 48 hours. Can you please post this on your social media pages? And I as well, in appreciation for that, will offer you an additional 5% off. All you have to do is just let me know once it's posted. And when you make your purchase, I will take the extra 5% off. So now what is this person going to do? This is your customer, right? They're happy to be able to share the news to their circle of friends and family. And you're going to give them an extra 5%. So they're going to go to the website and see what they want. Chances are you're only going to give that 80% off or 75% off to a select number of items. Okay. This is items that you have in your inventory. You've had them for a while. You might have a surplus of them. Those are the items you're going to drastically reduce. Now you have a section for that, your 48-hour blowout sale. But then you might also say, see other featured products. So when a person gets that 80% off, 9 times out of 10, their psychology is they're going to flip over and they're going to go look at more products on your website. Okay. If you're doing this live, it works the same way. You might do a live show. You might be selling your products through a Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Same thing. On my show tomorrow, I'm going to be giving 75% off of my products for the first 10 minutes. Okay, so for the first 10 minutes, you have a blowout, you do a 75% off. And then when you get to after the 10 minutes, you said, okay, so now for all of you that made a purchase at 75% off, I'm going to give you an additional 5% off on anything else you put in your carts. Okay, so now what does this mean? That means the person that is on your live that got the 75% off, they're not going to get off now because the 10 minutes are up. They're going to stay on, see what you got, and probably purchase more products. Now, the goal, don't forget though, of this is to get new customers. So you have to make sure that you are getting something from them before you give them the 75%. So you want to make sure that you can capture their email address, their contact information, so that you can stay in contact with them. Now, because they bought something from you and they're on your new email list, you should have, and some of you know this already, an automated email marketing plan already set up where they're going to get an email from you saying, thank you so much for participating in my blowout sale. Just to let you know, I go live whenever you go live, or I often do this every couple of months. I would love to have you on my mailing list to stay in touch. And thank you once again. That's it. You don't want to sell them anymore. You're just thanking them. Okay. And of course, you can unsubscribe at any time. So, because you don't want to be paying for emails that people are not opening either, because that costs you money. So you always want to make sure you have an opportunity and tell people they have an opportunity to unsubscribe from your list. A lot of times people don't because they're afraid of what they're going to miss. Sometimes people do. But your goal is to have an active, healthy mailing list and not a list, not a 4,000 or 5,000 list where only 200 or 300 people are opening it. Okay. All right. Develop partnerships to cross promote each other's products. So you've seen this many, many times. You see movie companies, Coca-Cola cross promotes all the time. If you go to watch a television show or a movie, you see a Coke can sitting there. Brands do this all the time. If you go to the movie theater, you'll see where it'll have Pepsi on the billfolds of the movies. So they are cross promoting products. Pepsi works with AMC theaters and Coke may work with cinema theaters. That's cross promotion. So they're cross promoting their products. People are having a Coke as they are doing whatever they're doing and promoting the movie. All right. So cross promote whenever you can, especially find a partnership that complements what you do. Ask happy customers for reviews. There are plenty of ways you can do a Google review now. You can do a Facebook review. I would suggest that you put at the bottom of your emails, the bottom of your sales invoices, everything where you have an interaction with a customer or prospect, you should have a link asking them to provide a review. Some will be good, hopefully. If you're doing customer service, most of your reviews will be good, but people tend today to go to Google and say, Taste and See marketing reviews. So reviews are very, very important. And once people give you a review, they're kind of like endorsing you. So it's kind of like they're taking ownership and pride in your brand. And it builds your credibility. So you want to ask for customer reviews, and this can help you in your promotions as you're talking to your customer referrals. Then your customers you can say, I have, so you can Google me. I have great reviews. So it helps to build your credibility. Get active on social media. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Social media is not going anywhere. If anything, it is growing. And it's moving into other platforms such as CTV and OTV, but there is no more economical way for you to get more customers than to use social media. Now, you will get to a point if you're not doing promotional social media or ad campaigns, you will come to a point where you will stumble, where you will just stifle. You won't lose customers, but you won't gain customers. But the first step is to get on it. And we've talked about that extensively. Again, go back to the Coffee With playlist and look at some of the older or other videos, and you'll see where I talk about social media. Again, define who your audience is and then target in on that particular social media or social network. For me, my biggest social network is YouTube because I teach people how to do stuff. So people use Google and they use YouTube to learn how to do stuff. So for me, my focus, I have a little bit of presence on Instagram, Facebook, but that's really not my focus. And I use them to push people to my YouTube. And I'll give you an example. When I first started Coffee With, I was doing it on both Facebook and YouTube. And I realized that I was splitting my target audience. So I would use Facebook to push the people to YouTube. Okay, so now what I do is I create my lives or my premieres on YouTube. And then I will share, once it's over, I will share that presentation from my YouTube on my Facebook channels. And what does that do? That pushes the people still to come back to YouTube. So I'm on there, but my focus is still YouTube. All right. So that's an idea. Find out where your target is and focus on that, and use the other platforms to push it to where your target audience is. And that's going to help you reach more people. You'll notice as we're doing this, getting active on social media, at the bottom of the screen, you see a banner. I'm very transparent. Schedule private consultation with Glenda Boone. So I am cross promoting. Okay. I'm cross promoting my YouTube live, but I'm also promoting my website, which is where people can learn to see what services I provide that I can help them grow their business. So this is a great example of cross promotion. All right. I'm promoting the website while using the live. Make sure your websites are user friendly. Remember, I talked about the importance of websites, making sure that these websites have a video on the front page. People want to hear from you. People buy from you. People want to trust you. So the first thing they should see is some type of video. If it's not you, some video about your company and what you do is very, very important in a DIY if you have not already built your platform. It doesn't even have to be a video of you talking. It can just be something video moving, your products moving. It's better if you sell products though, to make people fuzzy and warmy, because most of the e-commerce sites, they're very cold. Like they have the you have the little about, but then the focus, the bam, is the product and the buy me now. So if you have an e-commerce site, if you can put a welcome video on that site just to make it a little bit warmer and a little bit fuzzy, then that would be great. If you are a consultant and you're selling services, not so much to hear from you, but maybe some type of video to get their eyes focused on your content, and then links to where they can get the videos. Okay. Use targeted ads to reach your ideal customer. And I know you guys don't want to hear this, but at some point you're going to have to pay for advertising. Those people that you see in those companies really doing really, really well and covering all the pages of, Google, and they are not just sitting here posting 10, 15, 20 times a day. They are and have targeted their ideal customer, and they are doing digital marketing advertising. And I'm not going to take a lot of time in this particular video to talk about that. That's what we'll talk about when we do the private consultation. There's no fee for your initial consultation, but that is very, very, very important that you make sure that you are targeting your ideal customer. And at some point, and how will you know? You'll know when you are stifled. Okay, you're not losing any ground, but you're not gaining any ground. You don't, especially if you're doing social media, you're doing YouTubes, your views are pretty much the same. You're not gaining, but they've stayed the same, and it's been a minute. Your sales on your website, you're getting a lot of views, but they're not converting. They're not, people aren't buying from that website. That means you need to target your audience a little bit better. You need to have your messaging so people understand it, and you got to build the trust and the hype. That comes through targeted ads. So with that, you have to start an ad outreach campaign. And again, I'm not going to go through that in this particular session because that's a one-on-one, because everybody's business is different. Everybody's budget is different. However, it is important, and I say this over and over again, if you do not advertise and brand your business will not succeed. And at some point, sometimes people wait too late to do that. So you want to start off early on in your business, or if you've been in business for a minute and you haven't been focused on that, you need to rethink some things. You need to reallocate some budget so that you can focus on that. Same thing with churches and church pastors. I know that we're focused on hybrid right now. We're trying to get people back into the buildings, which is very, very important. But how are you going to get them back? Okay. How are you going to get them back? Remember, you have to solve their pain point. So what type of messaging am I going to do to get people back into the building? It's got to be a high, high, high bar, because people for a year and a half, almost 2 years, haven't had to put on clothes. They haven't had to, get all dressed up. They don't have to spend gas, which is, it's just astronomical right now. So what can I offer that will make they're online, so they have the convenience and the opportunity of being online? You don't want to turn off the online, because that's good revenue, that's good viewership for you, and it's growing your ministry. However, you have to sit down at some point and understand that you're going to have to do some type of promotional campaign or I would say a outreach campaign that is compelling to people to make them want to stop watching you from online and physically coming to the campus. Those that are there are going to be there and they're going to come, but those that are not there, then there has to be some type of outreach campaign to get them to come back. And it's got to be something that will benefit them, not what we think they should have. And that is just how it is. I know it's very hard to hear sometimes. However, that is the messaging. People will speak to their pain or pleasure point. So it's got to bring them, it's got to be compelling in the outreach that you do. And a lot of times the outreach can't come in the form of just general announcements. So at some point, again, I'm not there. I do offer private consultations. It's different based on every ministry. And you can contact me or you can send me an email, support@glendaboone.com, or you can click the Let's Talk button on glendaboone.com and schedule your consultation. But you have to start some type of outreach campaign to get more customers. And that's just the bottom line. And I wish I could tell you guys a little bit more than that or better than that. But in order to reach people, you have to find out who it is you're trying to reach. And then you have to be ready and willing to invest in going after, I call it going fishing, going after those customers and or potential members to reel them in. All right. And last but not least, to get more customers, utilize your local small business resources. If you're a small business owner, you have every state has a small business resource center that has a plethora of information, support. You can get grants there. You can get loans there. Don't start when your business is very young. Okay. That's when they want to talk to you. They also help you do a stepping stone into working with the federal government. And so I will be talking about that down the road. I am working on a series of sessions regarding federal contracting, and I will be getting to that on this channel by the end of this year. All right, so I think that is it for today. Oh, I did want to go back to last week. It was a question about funding. People wanted funding to start up their business. And these are the resources. You can go back to that video, but I wanted to keep this slide up so that you could see the different websites that you could go to look for additional funding. So the two biggest problems that small business startups have is, and churches as well, is funding, getting additional funding, and then how to get more customers. All right, so that is it for this week's Coffee with Glenda and Friends. I hope that it was beneficial to you, and I look forward to spending more time, especially with my paid members in our lives, as well as posting new videos for my audience that faithfully attends every week. Again, if I am personally not here, I will have a video post up for you, and it will go up every week at 11 o'clock on Mondays. Until we speak again, be blessed. Bye.